Ladies and gentlemen, imagine you are standing on the edge of a vast precipice, looking down into the unknown, feeling the pull of something greater than you. The temptation is there to leap, to allow the old you to fall into the abyss. But the voice inside says, what if I fall? What if you don't fall? What if this destruction is the very thing that births a new version of yourself? It's easy to become fixated on our current identity, our job, our status, the roles we've played. But we need to ask ourselves, is this who we truly are, or is this who we've been conditioned to believe we should be? The old structures, the old patterns, the outdated beliefs, these are the things that must be destroyed if we are to evolve. Just as a snake sheds its skin to grow, we too must shed our old self to embrace the future dot. The concept of destroying yourself often carries a heavy, negative connotation. To destroy something implies an end, an obliteration, a loss. However, when we speak about destroying yourself in the context of personal growth, it is not a literal or harmful act, but rather a profound shift in how we relate to the world and ourselves. It is an invitation to dismantle the parts of us that are no longer true, relevant, or useful, creating the space necessary for evolution and self-realization. Destruction, in this sense, is not about vanishing, but about clearing away the excess, the clutter, and the false identities that cloud our vision of who we truly are. We often become attached to certain roles, titles, and personas that define us to the outside world. These labels, whether they are based on our job, our social status, our family role, or our personal achievements, become so ingrained in us that we mistake them for our essence. We create these identities because they offer us a sense of security and familiarity. They are the walls we build around ourselves, the armor we're to protect us from the unknown and from vulnerability. But over time, these very structures meant to protect us start to imprison us. We become trapped in our own constructs, unable to see beyond the limitations we've placed on ourselves. True transformation, however, requires a conscious destruction of these walls. It requires questioning the identities we have adopted and realizing that they are not the totality of who we are. We are more than the job title we hold, the accolades we've received, or the social roles we play. These are merely external manifestations, transient in nature, and they cannot fully define our being. The essence of who we are lies deeper, in the place beyond these layers of accumulation. This kind of destruction is uncomfortable. It requires us to let go of the things we have clung to tear down the structures that have provided us with a false sense of security. But only through this painful process can we make room for a deeper, more authentic self to emerge. The shedding of old identities is akin to a snake shedding its skin. It is a necessary process of growth, where the old skin, though once protective and fitting, no longer serves its purpose. It becomes constricting, stifling the snake's potential to grow. Similarly, our old identities, as familiar and comfortable as they may feel, become too small to accommodate the person we are becoming. By destroying the false identities and limiting beliefs we hold, we are not eliminating ourselves, but rather making way for the real version of ourselves to surface. This destruction is not a loss. It is an invitation to evolve, to expand beyond the confines of who we thought we were. We let go of the need to control every aspect of our lives, the need to conform to expectations, and the need to hold on to every part of our past that no longer serves us. This destruction frees us from the mental and emotional clutter that holds us back from experiencing life as it is, in its fullness and rawness. The process of destroying these outdated versions of ourselves may feel terrifying at first. We fear that without our old identity we will be lost, undefined, or even invisible. But in reality, this is the moment of greatest potential. It is the moment when we come into alignment with our true nature, when we release the need for approval, and when we no longer depend on external markers of success to define our worth. This is where real self-discovery happens. We learn to embrace uncertainty, to trust in our own intuition, and to understand that our worth is not defined by what we do or what others think of us. It is inherent in who we are at our core. In dismantling these false identities, we begin to rediscover the person we were always meant to be. The process of destruction is, in this sense, a return to wholeness. We strip away the layers that have been built up by external pressures, societal expectations, and self-imposed limitations, and we uncover the truth of our being. This truth is far more expansive and dynamic than any identity or role we could ever define ourselves by. It is the limitless potential that lies within each of us, waiting to be tapped into when we allow ourselves the freedom to be who we truly are, beyond the labels and the restrictions we have placed upon ourselves. Letting go of the past is one of the most challenging yet necessary steps in the process of personal transformation. We often carry the weight of our past experiences, our failures, our regrets, our losses as if they define us. These memories, these moments, become like chains holding us in place, preventing us from moving forward. It's not that the past is inherently bad, but when we hold on to it too tightly, it can become a prison, limiting our ability to grow and change. True freedom lies in the ability to release the past, not as an act of forgetting or denial, but as an act of choice and liberation. Each of us is shaped by our experiences, and there is no denying that they leave a mark on us. The pain of past failures, the disappointment of lost opportunities, and the scars of broken relationships all shape our worldview and the way we see ourselves. These experiences are valuable in their own right, as they teach us important lessons and help us build resilience. But when we hold on to these memories as if they are the only truths about ourselves, we limit our potential. We become trapped in an endless loop of self-doubt, regret, and fear, unable to move beyond the person we were in the past. The stories we tell ourselves about who we are based on what has happened to us keep us tethered to those old versions of ourselves. Letting go of the past doesn't mean erasing the memories or pretending that the pain never happened. It means understanding that those experiences, no matter how difficult or painful, do not define us. They are not who we are, they are simply part of our journey. The key is to see them for what they are, temporary moments in time that do not have to dictate our present or our future. By releasing the grip we have on these past experiences, we allow ourselves the space to grow into who we are meant to be, unencumbered by the weight of past events. The process of releasing the past involves confronting it, acknowledging its impact on us, and then making a conscious decision to let go. This can be incredibly difficult because we often have deep emotional attachments to our past selves. We feel as though letting go means losing something essential, something that has become a part of our identity. But in reality, we are not losing anything valuable. We are freeing ourselves from the constraints of old beliefs, old wounds, and old patterns of behavior that no longer serve us. This is where true transformation begins. Letting go of the past also means freeing ourselves from the expectations of others. Often we carry the weight of other people's opinions, judgments, and ideas of who we should be. These external pressures shape how we perceive ourselves and keep us from stepping into our true potential. When we let go of the past, we also let go of the need for external validation. We stop living according to someone else's script and start writing our own story. This is a powerful moment, for it is only when we release the influence of others that we can fully embrace our authentic selves. The act of releasing the past is not a one-time event. It is an ongoing process. Just as we may need to shed old identities, we also need to periodically release old experiences and beliefs that no longer serve us. This could mean letting go of old grudges, forgiving ourselves and others, or simply accepting that some things in life are beyond our control. By constantly evaluating our relationship with the past and choosing to let go of what is no longer useful, we create space for new opportunities, new experiences, and new ways of being. It is in this act of releasing the past that we make room for the present moment. We stop living in the shadow of what was and begin to fully experience what is. This is where the power of change lies. When we are free from the weight of the past, we can fully engage with the world around us, open to new experiences and new ways of seeing ourselves. We can begin to build a new foundation, one that is not based on who we were, but on who we are becoming. This is the true essence of growth and transformation, the ability to continuously shed the old and embrace the new without fear, without hesitation, and with full trust in the process of becoming. To truly build ourselves, we must embrace the discomfort that comes with change. Change is often viewed with apprehension because it challenges the stability we have worked so hard to create. We often associate comfort with safety and growth with discomfort, and as such, the thought of stepping into the unknown, of breaking down what has been established, feels like a risk. But in reality, growth is inherently uncomfortable, and the discomfort is a sign that we are pushing ourselves into new territory, expanding beyond the limits we've set for ourselves. The challenge with change is not just external, it's internal. We are creatures of habit, and the brain naturally resists change because it perceives it as a threat. The familiar patterns we fall into, whether they are behaviors, beliefs, or ways of thinking, provide us with a sense of stability and security. These patterns allow us to navigate the world with a certain level of predictability and ease. However, the very nature of life is change. The world around us is constantly shifting, evolving, and moving forward. To ignore this natural flow of life is to stagnate, to remain locked in a state of comfort, never venturing beyond what is known and safe. When we choose to break free from these patterns, we encounter resistance. The mind and body push back because they crave the familiar. But this resistance is not a signal to stop. It is a sign that we are on the right path. Growth is not about avoiding discomfort. It is about learning to thrive in it. It is about taking those feelings of unease and turning them into fuel for transformation. Each moment of discomfort presents an opportunity for us to shed the old and embrace the new, to dismantle the old self and build the new one. This is where true growth happens, in the space between who we were and who we are becoming. In this process of growth, we often experience feelings of fear, self-doubt, and uncertainty. These emotions are natural when we are faced with the unknown. The mind wants to protect us from potential harm, and so it tries to keep us in our comfort zone. But these fears and doubts are merely illusions. They are the product of an ingrained need for control, for certainty. In reality, the world is unpredictable, and the only true certainty we can have is in our ability to adapt to change. When we embrace this uncertainty, when we accept that we cannot control every aspect of our lives, we open ourselves up to limitless possibilities. We allow ourselves to step into the flow of life rather than fight against it. The process of building ourselves is an ongoing one, requiring continuous effort and willingness to face discomfort head-on. Each time we step outside our comfort zone, we grow stronger, more resilient, and more capable of handling the challenges that lie ahead. Change doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen without effort. It requires us to be patient with ourselves, to understand that the path to personal growth is rarely linear. There will be setbacks, mistakes, and moments of doubt. But these are not signs of failure. They are opportunities to learn, to refine, and to grow. As we face discomfort and change, it's important to remember that the discomfort is not the enemy. It is the catalyst for transformation. Without it, there is no growth. Without the destruction of old beliefs, old behaviors, and old identities, there can be no construction of the new. We must be willing to endure the discomfort, to face the uncertainty, and to embrace the unknown in order to reach our full potential. Only by breaking down the old structures, by challenging the status quo, can we begin to build the new version of ourselves that is aligned with who we truly are and who we are meant to become. The key to navigating discomfort is not in avoiding it, but in learning to sit with it. When we resist the discomfort, we only prolong the process of growth. When we allow ourselves to feel the discomfort fully, without judgment or fear, we create the space for transformation to occur. It is in these moments of discomfort that we build the mental and emotional strength to face whatever challenges come our way. By embracing discomfort, we not only build ourselves, we become more attuned to the ebb and flow of life, more capable of moving with the changes rather than resisting them. It is through this process that we unlock the true potential of who we are and who we can become. The fear of the unknown is one of the most powerful forces that holds us back from personal transformation. It is deeply ingrained in our nature to seek stability and predictability. The unknown, by its very nature, is uncertain, and our minds, conditioned to avoid danger and discomfort, instinctively shy away from situations where we feel out of control. This fear often leads us to stay in situations, jobs, relationships, and lifestyles that we know aren't serving us simply because they are familiar. We convince ourselves that we are better off with what we know, even if it means living in a state of dissatisfaction or complacency. However, it is precisely by embracing the unknown that we begin to break free from the chains of our past. The unknown represents infinite possibility. It holds the potential for growth, new experiences, and unimagined success. But to access this potential, we must first confront the fear that arises when we step into uncharted territory. The reality is that the unknown is not as dangerous as our minds make it out to be. The fear is not a signal to retreat, but an invitation to move forward. It is a call to trust in our ability to adapt, to grow, and to learn. When we fear the unknown, we are often paralyzed by what might happen. We imagine worst-case scenarios, and our minds spiral into negative projections. We worry about failure, judgment, and loss. But this fear is often based on nothing more than speculation. In truth, The vast majority of what we fear never comes to pass. The act of moving into the unknown, of making the decision to step outside of our comfort zones, is rarely as catastrophic as we imagine it to be. And even if challenges do arise, they are simply opportunities for growth, learning, and resilience. One of the most transformative aspects of embracing the unknown is the opportunity it gives us to redefine ourselves. When we venture beyond what we know, we are forced to shed the identities and labels that we have built around ourselves. These identities are based on past experiences, roles we've played, and societal expectations. While these roles and labels have their place, they can also limit our potential. When we step into the unknown, we let go of the old narratives we have told ourselves about who we are. We become free to explore new possibilities, new ways of thinking, and new ways of being. The unknown becomes a blank canvas, and we are the artists capable of painting our lives in any direction we choose. This process is not easy, and it is not without its challenges. The unknown will always bring discomfort, uncertainty, and resistance. But the very nature of this discomfort is what allows us to grow. It is through confronting the unknown that we discover new strengths, new skills, and new aspects of our character. We learn to trust ourselves, to take risks, and to develop the resilience to face whatever comes our way. Each time we step into the unknown, we expand our capacity for growth, and we become more capable of handling life's uncertainties with grace and confidence. The key to overcoming the fear of the unknown is not to eliminate it, but to reframe it. Instead of seeing fear as a signal to turn back, we can see it as a signal to move forward. Fear is simply a byproduct of the brain's natural response to change, but it does not have to control us. When we acknowledge the fear but choose to move through it, we reclaim our power. It is in these moments of discomfort that we experience the greatest breakthroughs. The unknown, once feared and avoided, becomes a source of possibility, a place where true transformation occurs. By embracing the unknown, we break free from the limitations that have been imposed upon us by others and by ourselves. We no longer live according to the rules and expectations of the past, but instead we begin to create new rules, new paths, and new opportunities. The unknown offers us the freedom to live authentically, to align with our true selves, and to build a life that is in harmony with our deepest desires and aspirations. The fear may never fully go away, but when we learn to move with it rather than against it, we unlock the power to transform ourselves and our lives in ways we never thought possible. To build ourselves, we must first dismantle the preconceived notions and false beliefs that we hold about who we are. These notions are like walls that we build around ourselves, often from childhood experiences, societal expectations, or limiting beliefs that we internalize over time. We are taught who we should be, how we should behave, and what we should achieve in life. These external influences become deeply ingrained within us and shape how we see the world and ourselves. But the process of transformation begins when we question these beliefs, when we challenge the narratives that we have accepted as truth. Many of these false beliefs are not based on our true nature, but rather on a version of reality that others have imposed upon us. For example, we may have been taught that success is only defined by material wealth or status, or that our worth is determined by our ability to meet certain standards set by society. These beliefs can become so ingrained that we live our lives according to them, even when they don't honor with our true desires or values. The first step in building ourselves is to recognize that these beliefs are not our own, and that we have the power to break free from them. The process of dismantling these false beliefs is not easy. It requires deep introspection and honesty. It requires us to question everything we thought we knew about ourselves, and to be willing to let go of the comfortable but limiting ideas that have shaped our lives. This is where the discomfort of transformation arises. It is often painful to confront the fact that we have been living according to someone else's script, and that the life we've been striving for may not be the one we truly want. But in this discomfort lies the opportunity for true growth. By stripping away the false beliefs that we have been holding on to, we make room for something new, something more authentic. Dismantling these beliefs involves challenging the stories we tell ourselves. For example, we may have internalized the idea that we are not capable of achieving our dreams, or that we don't deserve happiness or success. These stories become so deeply embedded in our psyche that they limit our actions, our choices, and our potential. To break free from these stories, we must actively rewrite them. We must choose new stories that are empowering, authentic, and aligned with who we truly are. This requires courage and vulnerability. It requires us to be willing to face our fears and doubts head-on, and to confront the parts of ourselves that we may have been avoiding. The process of building ourselves involves shedding old identities and embracing new ones. These identities are not fixed, they are fluid and ever-evolving. When we let go of the beliefs that no longer serve us, we free ourselves to explore new ways of being and thinking. We are no longer confined by the limitations of our past experiences or the expectations of others. We become the creators of our own reality, able to design a life that reflects our true desires, values, and aspirations. One of the most liberating aspects of this process is the realization that we are not defined by our past. The mistakes, failures, and challenges we have faced do not determine who we are. They are merely experiences that we can learn from and grow through. The only thing that defines us is our willingness to evolve, to let go of the past, and to embrace the possibility of change. The more we let go of the stories that have held us back, the more we make room for new experiences, new ways of thinking, and new versions of ourselves to emerge. In this journey of transformation, we must also learn to trust ourselves. Trusting ourselves means letting go of the need for external validation and approval. It means believing that we are capable of making decisions that are in alignment with our true selves, even when others may not understand or support our choices. Trusting ourselves requires that we cultivate self-love and self-acceptance. We must stop looking outside of ourselves for answers and instead begin to listen to the wisdom within. This is where the true power of transformation lies, in the ability to trust that we are enough, just as we are, and that we have everything we need within us to create the life we desire. The process of building ourselves is not a destination, but an ongoing journey. It requires continuous self-awareness, introspection, and a willingness to embrace change. As we dismantle the false beliefs that we have held for so long, we make space for new ways of thinking, new ways of being, and new possibilities to emerge. Through this process, we evolve into the best versions of ourselves, versions that are authentic, empowered, and aligned with our true purpose in life. In order to build ourselves, we must first learn to accept that change is a fundamental part of life. It is not something that can be avoided or controlled, but rather something that must be embraced in order to evolve. Change is a natural process, and it is through this process that we grow, develop, and ultimately become the individuals we are meant to be. However, the idea of change can be frightening for many of us. We are often afraid of losing the comfort and security of what we know, even if what we know is no longer serving us. The fear of change can keep us stuck in patterns and situations that no longer align with our true selves. But the key to growth is the ability to let go of the old and make space for the new. When we hold on to the past, whether it be past experiences, past identities, or past relationships, we prevent ourselves from fully stepping into the present moment. We live in a constant state of longing for what was, rather than embracing what is. In order to build ourselves, we must learn to release the grip we have on the past and allow ourselves to be open to the unknown future. The process of letting go is often painful, but it is a necessary step in the journey of self-discovery and transformation. The fear of change is often tied to the fear of failure. Many of us avoid change because we are afraid of making mistakes or not living up to our own expectations. We may fear that by stepping into the unknown, we will fall short or not be able to handle the challenges that come with it. But failure is not something to be feared. It is something to be embraced as part of the learning process. Every failure is an opportunity to learn, grow, and become better equipped for the next challenge. Failure is not a reflection of our worth or our potential. It is simply a part of the journey that allows us to refine ourselves and become stronger. The key to overcoming the fear of failure is to shift our mindset. Instead of viewing failure as something negative, we must learn to see it as a stepping stone toward success. Each mistake, each setback, each moment of discomfort is an opportunity for us to grow and evolve. The more we embrace failure as a natural part of the process, the less power it has over us. We stop letting fear dictate our actions and start seeing every experience, whether positive or negative, as an opportunity to learn and expand. This mindset shift is not easy, and it requires a great deal of self-awareness and self-compassion. We must learn to be kind to ourselves when we stumble, to give ourselves grace when things don't go as planned, and to trust that we are exactly where we need to be in our journey. This trust in ourselves is essential to building the life we desire. When we trust in our ability to handle whatever comes our way, we release the need to control every aspect of our lives. We allow ourselves to be vulnerable and open to the flow of life, knowing that whatever happens, we will be able to handle it and learn from it. Building ourselves is also about learning to set boundaries and prioritize our own well-being. In a world that often values productivity, achievement, and external validation, it can be easy to lose sight of what truly matters. We may find ourselves giving too much of our time and energy to others, neglecting our own needs and desires in the process. But in order to build ourselves, we must learn to honor our own needs. We must learn to say no when necessary, to prioritize self-care, and to set boundaries that protect our energy and mental health. By doing so, we create the space and the energy necessary to grow, evolve, and build a life that aligns with our true values. In this process of self-building, it is also important to surround ourselves with people who support and encourage our growth. The people we spend time with have a powerful influence on our mindset, our behaviors, and our overall well-being. If we are surrounded by individuals who encourage us to stay small, to hold on to old beliefs, or to remain in situations that no longer serve us, it will be much harder to build ourselves. On the other hand, when we surround ourselves with people who challenge us, inspire us, and push us to be the best versions of ourselves, we create an environment that fosters growth and transformation. To build ourselves is to continuously evolve and embrace the unknown. It is about shedding the old and embracing the new, trusting in our ability to handle whatever comes our way, and creating a life that is aligned with our deepest values and desires. It is about letting go of the fear of change and stepping into the unknown with courage, resilience, and faith in ourselves. As we build ourselves, we discover new strengths, new capabilities, and new dimensions of who we are. The process is not easy, but it is worth it, because through this process we create a life that is rich with possibility and filled with authenticity.